Oh my god, are you kidding me? And this hand, after everything that happened earlier, is going to get spicy. A-Town, we've seen him do this limping strategy. Allows you to call with a lot of hands, protects your weak end of your range. Viet does want to go ahead and put some pressure on. It's unfortunately at the wrong time. And here he is, Jamie, with the pocket kings. Not really seeing a call here. He looks like he really wants to size up with what he's looking at.
Raise. How's that for? 700.
700 coming into the middle. Jamie has played a little quiet tonight. See if Viet wants to go ahead and start to really put some money in on this hand. Queen 8, not the best hand to do it with. Viet does play very well post-flop, which you really got to do if you're going to be making a call like this. He is getting 2.5 to 1, although that's kind of unfair to look at that statistic pre-flop because you do have a lot of action left with 3 more streets. He does find the call. And let's head to a flop. Here we go. About 1,500 in the pot. Kings versus Queen 8. And Viet with the double backdoor here, but not much else working. And Jamie probably does want to go ahead and continue 100. Maybe with a small size, maybe 300. Picks 4, I like it. Let's force some calls from a lot. And Viet does go ahead and make the call. Oh yes, the turn brings the clubs into play. Jamie still with the overpair. Viet does have an over to the board. 2,200 in the pot. Viet with 2,400 behind, so effectively a 1 stack to pot ratio. See where Jamie goes with this. He does really force Viet to almost commit. Betting 800 here. Viet would only have 1,600 behind. That does sound like a raise. And I've got to see it all in here. And probably a call with Viet risking all but 580 of his stack at this point. And here we go. We're heading to a river. Do you want a club or not? Find me in the club. Oh, man. Viet. Rivers the flush with the cheeky $1,800 raise.
How about Thursdays? I always lose to you on Thursdays.
These guys have done a great job of creating and also expanding on games that you've seen on other streams, but the kill button game, a fantastic game that I saw for the first time here at the Houston stream.
If we played Squid Game, it would have been like paid like, I don't even know. Would you 7 for 50? I don't put 2 out. We got
Very interesting. The diamonds are working, and somehow we see 2 on the flop. Amir with the gut shot straight flush draw that Duke does block. Little does he know. And Amir and Viet gonna go to a turn. Viet not realizing how badly he wants to miss. Except for that way. He does find himself hitting the bottom pair. That is enough. And Amir going really big. Oh, 600. He did pull out that 1K chip, but
600.
Love it. Love it. Showing a ton of strength there, pulling out the 1K over chip. My money says he folds, though, the way he's looking at this board. I don't know why, but he does find it. And let's see what happens. Kind of more interested to see a brick river, which we do see, except it does give Viet 2 pair. And now he's probably... Oh, Amir with the overbet. This is the bet that would work, if anything does. And Viet, man, does he love or hate to see that 7 on the river? What an interesting hand. He blocks flush draws, although he probably doesn't put Amir on any flush draw. He has. Let's listen to him.
How much to pick a card for? Come on, it can't be too much.
No, can't show you a card.
What?
No. Give you away the
Not
answer.
this one, huh?
Give you away the answer and make it fold too easy.
Show me if I fold.
Queens, jacks, maybe, are the other bluffs that would kind of make sense with the diamond. But I don't know if we get here with either of those. I don't think that the action goes 600 on the turn,
How much is it? 20.
then an all in. Oh, man.
Or I can call and see the hand.
That is option 2, Viet. You can just call, and then you definitely see the hand.
One card for 400.
No way, man.
Ay, ay,
Man,
ay.
Viet,
I don't know what to do with this
the
hand.
absolute blender right now.
Regret decision.
Oh, God, what does he do? What does he do? What is he feeling? Oh, man.
It's like 50-50.
He's got both options in his hands right now. The call and the fold. Does he go right hand or left hand? Oh, he did it! He calls! He finds the
Oh
call.
my god.
There it is, ladies and gentlemen. The 7-4. We did not have a misread.
Oh my
Turns the
god.
pair, rivers 2 pair, and finds
I almost
the
folded.
hero call over Amir's $2,900 shove.
I'm lucky I saw Gar. He's like,
Call, 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 baby.
oh shit.
Speaking of more, pocket queens. Duke with the early position raise, and Ty absolutely dominated here. A-Town wants to see, Viet wants to see, and Jamie wants to see. Viet finding himself on the wrong end of a diamond flush draw again. Oh, and it does come in that it's relevant. He does have the absolute nutter butter draw, which Ty does partially block. And this could be an interesting one. Could definitely see Duke checking here. He does not want to. And A-Town with the seemingly nut flush draw, Viet knowing differently. And, oh boy. Now Viet still only has one straight flush draw in that he can't find the queen of diamonds. But I believe the 7 is still out there. Just really bad news for him though. And it looks like he's contemplating and going to fire out. And Duke gonna get out of the way, I'm sure. And now what does A do?
You're good, brother. You're good.
Just snap shoves all in.
He called the flop. He called
Yeah,
the
I thought, yeah, it's okay, brother. It's okay.
He called the flop.
Yeah, thank you.
What the heck?
What happened now? He's all in?
So, 25. It's about 27.
Wow, interesting. Viet's making a decision really quickly here. Really quick decision there. A little bit surprising, given that there are multiple flush draws that beat flushes that beat him, and there's obviously the full house out there.
Flushing or nining?
Yeah.
Flushing?
Why?
Little does he know, the 7 of diamonds would make for an absolutely wild river. Big pot here. 7,000. Can the 7 of diamonds come on a $7,000 pot? Here we go. Nope. A-Town takes down that big pot. 77,000. Viet just in all of the big hands on the right end and the wrong end. Just playing a lot. Getting a lot of interesting spots that he's been in. Unfortunately for him, that one did not go his way, but nice hand, A-Town. A-Town with one of them. Oh, wow, a lot of clubs out.
375.
Viet getting really lucky with the clubs so far. Duke with an interesting one. Got a fold based on this action, but has some pretty relevant outs for A-Town and Viet. Caleb now deciding, do I raise? Do I call? You clearly don't want to be out of position with 2 players. He does go ahead and bump it though. A huge 4-bet here. Probably thinking that he's out of position. These two play together a lot as well. There might be some prior history that's coming into play here. Yeah, basically 2-1. Again, not always the right way to think about it when you're looking at a pre-flop decision, but an easy metric. Maybe giving a little bit away with how he decided to make that call. Some live tells possibly. The board comes low, Caleb's gonna blast for sure. Query what happens if an overcard comes. Kind of rooting for a king here, not gonna lie. Just to make the hand interesting. Oh. And Viet just finding that 30%. And now if you're Caleb, what do you do? Is there even such a thing as a range bet in this particular circumstance? Caleb thinks so. That's basically a quarter pot. I'd probably go even smaller, but I like the sizing if you're going to go ahead and choose to bet here. It is rainbow texture though. And you're really not trying to protect against too much either, because there's only one more overcard that can come. And you can see both these players still very deep. Still about a 1.5 SPR. I'm thinking Caleb's got to check, and we'll see what Viet chooses to do here. I'd probably like a check back. And then a river bet. I think that just looks a little bit fishier. It's kind of hard for Viet to bet this turn with anything less than an ace or an 8. And you might make it a little too easy for Caleb to fold hands like he exactly has. Kings through jacks. So into 3,500. How much does it go?
Seat 1 bets 875.
875. Basically a quarter pot. That's good sizing if you're going to bet here. He's going to have less than a pot-sized bet behind if Caleb calls. And we're heading to a river in an incredibly big pot here. Over 5,000 already in there.
Seat 8 checks.
And Caleb checks pretty quickly. Let's see what Viet chooses to do here. If he bets, he really is targeting kings through jacks. And again, you can't discount the hand history between these two. There's a lot of levels that are probably going on in each of their minds. With Viet, I could probably see like a $1,000 bet. I could see it all in if he thinks Caleb's going to overcall. Could even see a check to just protect if Caleb is getting tricky with something like ace-queen. Or the rogue 8.
2650. Seat 1 bets 2650.
He goes half pot. Interesting sizing here. Now you're giving Caleb 3-1. So Caleb has to decide, do I win 25% of the time here? And what bluffs really are here based on the action?
Oh, you got like pocket threes?
Viet clearly taunting Caleb.
You said hero call, so
He knows that he has
quick.
tens through kings here. You heard Caleb say the kill button might be affecting the decisions here. Viet's just so heavily weighted towards ace-x with the way that the pre-flop betting went. Especially because you have both relevant queens. If Viet wanted to get really out of line with something like king-queen suited, you have the two backdoors that would have made a lot of sense for a really crazy call on the flop and then a bet on the turn. He does call. And Viet scoops in a $10,000 pot. Go ahead and make it 75. Viet calls with the connectors. Ty seems to really like these suited hands, regardless of connectivity, and Jamie is going to bet here, probably like 325. $275. Goes basically 4x. Snapped off by A-Town. Viet and Ty both call. So interesting. We have a lot of flush draw options here. And some connected cards.
What hand you got right now?
And wow.
Right, this hand?
Don't mind the bet at all here from Jamie. You like to bet a little bit smaller when it's multi-way, especially four-handed. Bets 400 and sees a pretty obvious call from A-Town there. I don't know that you want to raise, although you do have a draw to the nuts and a draw to that straight, as well as overcards against a lot of hands that Jamie has, like jacks, queens, kings. And Ty, interesting call here. King may slow the players down.
It's not like a. It's not like
Be interested to see if A-Town finds a bet here.
you're gonna have to Uber home. No joke.
Does look like he bet, yep, 1,000. A little less than half pot. And then ace does mean that Jamie with that 2 pair can't take it down if he stays in the hand. Does mean that the 5 is all you need for the straight. Obviously 5-6 was already there.
It's a huge one. Look at that pop.
And Ty again trying to put his hand in the cookie jar.
28,2,850. Fold.
Wow, show it. Just show it. Wow, what
And Jamie
Damn!
takes it down.
Jamie, you caught it with.
Snap call.
Oh, that alcohol! What the hell did you call it with?
Big hand
What
for
the hell this
Jamie
guy
there.
called it with?
You got kill one. You got kill one.
That's why I called you.
You kill.
No, you don't. He got the best hand.
Caleb with the snowman is going to open here.
Not Caleb.
Oh, Viet with the jacks. Oh boy.
Alright, note yourself, if I see a deuce, I'm not betting anything.
Went 3x over and Caleb called. They were in a very big hand previously. If you didn't watch it, definitely check it out. Pocket queens versus ace 10. Oh wow, Caleb flopping the best of it here with the set. Viet does choose to exercise some caution with the ace high board. Oh my god, are you kidding me? Oh wow. 2 outer to 2 outer. And Caleb, God, has to feel so good about his hand right now, but little does he know that he is drawing to 1 out. And this hand, after everything that happened earlier, is going to get spicy. I can't see anything but Caleb getting stacked unless he finds an 8 on the river.
Thank you, Mark.
And a 9 will not do it. Relatively innocuous card. I will say that Viet is going to have checks with pocket 9s and pocket jacks. Caleb checks. Wow. Exercising an amazing amount of discretion here. Assuming that he's going for the check raise. What size does Viet go with here into an $1,100 pot based on the action? What is Caleb going to bet 325 with and then check? Maybe missed spades? Something like king queen of spades? And we'll wait to see the sizing. I do see a yellow bird in there. It is 1,100. He's betting full pot. Caleb's probably going to shove here and get the bad news. Somehow he figures out that Viet's weighted towards oversets here. Yeah, no surprise. I don't blame him at all. I do not blame him whatsoever. Just an absolute cooler. And we'll wait for a second for Viet to call, but it's certainly coming.
St. Queen, yeah, makes sense now. Dover got it. 2025? 2025.
Really anxious about this queen 10. I'm a little surprised at how long it's taken Viet.
Aces are good. You got aces.
I got aces.
No, you don't.
I got aces. Yeah.
gives the bad news to Caleb. Oh my God, what a brutal hand.